Welcome to this week's episode of the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. I'm your host Varun, and I'm joined by DJ. Ashwin is attending a tennis tournament in Dallas, so he can't make it this week. And boy, what a shame because it's the IPL auction weekend. And I have been glued to my TV most of Saturday, part of Sunday. And it's been quite the spectacle. DJ, how are you? And have you been watching the IPL auction or
I
the
have
mega
been
auction?
I have been watching the mega auction. It's been great fun. I've been following it. Actually, not watching it. I don't know where it's broadcast. I've been following it on Twitter as well as Crick Info, Crick Buzz and stuff. But Ashwin, are you sure he's attending a mega tournament or whatever tennis tournament, or is he just still recovering from the shock of Shardul Thakur coming to the Delhi Capitals, his
It
favorite
had
player ever?
it had to happen, man. I've been hoping Shardul comes to Delhi for Ashwin, and then I've been hoping that Shreyas Iyer becomes KKR captain because of all the shit I've got over the last few years for Iyer being in Delhi. So that happened as well. But yeah, I mean, we're going to get right into it. One quick thing before we start, speaking of the auctioneer, Hugh, I think, I was watching it live when it happened, and on Hasaranga's bid, actually, he just collapsed and fell over the podium, and I was shocked. And like, I think everyone in the room was stunned. So it was a very tough moment. I mean, difficult to watch. Can't even imagine what he was going through. There was no information for a while, but today they opened and said that he's fine. He had a video, so that was really good, and good to see Charu Sharma on short notice. Lives in Bangalore, close to the hotel. Got a call from the IPL chairman and just made his way down in 30 minutes and started. So good to see a familiar face, and also good to see that Hugh was okay.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool actually. I mean, I was thinking, and unrelated to the auctioneer going down earlier, I was wondering why we don't have an Indian auctioneer. It was actually a question
Yeah,
in my mind. I was like, Harsha Bhogle or someone would be amazing, but of course, Charu Sharma is local, and by all accounts, he's done a fantastic job stepping in at short notice. Just it's been appreciated. He's been saying instead of this player has been unsold, that this player has been passed. So I mean,
yeah,
yeah, it's
small
maybe time
things.
for a change. Maybe time for a new era with the new mega auction, the new look teams, and a new look auctioneer. Or maybe the auction
Yeah,
stops. Who knows? Maybe this is the
yeah,
last time it happens.
yeah. You never know. But kudos to Charu Sharma for stepping in. We all recognize his voice immediately. We've been watching over the years, and a lot of people on Twitter were saying he was the best buy this IPL auction. So kudos to him. Right. Let's get straight into it. Our team, the three of us support the Delhi Capitals. DJ, I'm going to run through quickly some of the key highlights and then give me your view on the auction strategy and how you think, or what do you think the positives and negatives of this team are. So, of course, the Delhi Capitals retained Rishabh Pant, Akshar Patel, Prithvi Shaw, and Anrek Nokia. Good strategy, but of course, given the team we had, your Dhawan, Iyer, Ashwin, Rabada, all of these guys had to make way. Hetmeyer, Stoinis. So those are the four that we signed. I think we got the pick of the auction with David Warner at 6.25 crore. We got, I mean, apart from that, the batting looks a little bit light. And DJ, if you want to jump in, just jump in. Let's talk about Warner. Let's talk quickly about Warner. 6.25 crore, man of the tournament at the T20 World Cup. Selling himself a little bit short there.
Yeah, he's back home, right? This is where it all began for David Warner. One of the top IPL run getters, I think part of at least some of our IPL greatest of all time. He had a bad season last year. Sounds like there was some off-field stuff going on with the Sunrisers management. Yeah, but he's back in the fold, and I'm looking forward to him opening with Prithvi Shaw, man. What a partnership that's going to be. Listen, 6.25 crores, neither here nor there. He's made enough money of the IPL. For him at this stage, I think it's just a legacy thing, right? It's more like Chris Gale playing the IPL last year. He's not looking to make money off it. He's just looking to cement his legacy as a great. And if there's some money involved, that's a nice bonus. But super excited to see him back. He replaces Shikhar, of course, who's gone to Punjab. And similar type of player. Both of them played. I think they used to open the batting for Sunrisers at one point together. So
Yeah,
like for
they
like,
did.
right?
Absolutely. So great buy on David Warner. Quickly running through the batsmen, no big notable name. I mean, I would say Sarfaraz Khan has shown promise, but has also not done enough. Got picked up as base price. KS Bharat was the interesting one. Like he's a backup wicket keeper. He's being groomed to be Pant's backup in the Indian team. We know he can bat, especially that last ball six against Delhi Capitals last year, which hurt. But I think overall decent pick. And then Mandeep Singh. Those are the only notable names. The key ones to mention though are the all-rounders. Mitch Marsh, right? You knew with an Australian coach, Mitch Marsh was always going to be eyed by the Delhi Capitals. Personally, I think it's a great buy. I think he could bat at number 3. But I guess the question, DJ, is always around his fitness, right? He's always in and out.
I think there was one IPL where he went out in the first over. He bowled maybe for Punjab or Sunrisers. He bowled the first over and he was already ruled out of the tournament. But Mitch Marsh, great buy. And of course, you've got Andrik Nokia, who I got the pleasure of speaking to this morning, which is pretty cool on the Delhi Capitals channel. He'll be leading it. What do you make of the 3 left-arm seamers that we've picked? You've got the Fizz. I think he was Purple Cap winner a few years ago. You've got Sakaria, young man, bowling pretty well. And then there is Khalil Ahmed, who's... they went for big money, both those 2 left-armers that I've just mentioned. Fizz went for his base price, which I think was 2. But Sakaria and Khalil both... I know Khalil has that celebration where he picks up the phone, so he'll be ringing home with some pretty happy news, right?
Yeah, I was surprised, man. I think 3 left-armers is probably one too many. Given we haven't had any in the past that I can think of, except maybe Trent Bolt in the last few years. Look, let's talk about, 3 left-armers, good question, DJ, but let's talk a little bit more about the fact that our bowling attack is potentially going to be Fizz, Khalil Ahmed, Kuldeep Yadav, Shardul Thakur, right? Those are the 4. Probably joined by Akshar Patel and Mitch Marsh. Now, 3 out of these 4, I'm pretty sure that I mentioned, go for 8 to 10 runs per over in every game. I forgot Nokia. So, sorry, I forgot Nokia. So, but still, you have 3 bowlers who will go between 8 and 10. Now, what do you think of that strategy? Do you think in all teams, you're pretty much going to have 2-3 bowlers going at that rate, and so it's not a concern? Or do you think this is actually going to be a cause of concern for Delhi? Because it's, you set up a game to chase, and if you're going to be chasing 200, it's a lot of pressure on your top 3 or 4.
Yeah, interesting. I think Khalil takes wickets but goes for runs, and that's the toss-up you have. Same with Shardul Thakur, right? Like, takes wickets of good balls, bad balls, but does go for runs along the way. Lungi Ngidi is a good pick. I don't think we mentioned him. I think he was passed up the first time round, but we've now got him.
Okay.
So Lungi...
I was messaging you as he got passed the first time, saying he would have been a great pick. So that's really good.
So we've got Lungi and we've got Dubey. Dubey ji is back, Praveen Dubey. Lalit Yadav is back again. The thing is, your marquee players, you've lost KG, right? Rabada was a big, and Avesh went for 10 crores. Those are big. Avesh, I think his base price was set at 50, but he saw the value that a team is put on an Indian seamer who's going to literally play every game and take wickets for you. So I think that's where we're looking a little bit light. If Sakaria, Khalil's okay. Khalil, if he can step up to the plate, Khalil, Sakaria, they're all good in the power play. So yeah, a little bit difficult, I think, on the bowling. I think we're a little bit light with one class kind of Indian seamer, which we'd found in Avesh, but maybe we can find that again. Umesh Yadav has been passed up again. Ishant Sharma has gone unsold as well. Both of whom were in our squad last time round. So tough. Yeah, but I'm super excited about Yash Dhul, man. I'm sure we'll come to it, but I'm really happy we've got the under-19 Indian captain, Delhi middle order batter. The last time an Indian captain from Delhi who batted in the middle order won the World Cup, it was Virat Kohli, right? And Delhi passed him up to get a left-arm seamer, Pradeep Sangwan, in 2008. So didn't make the same mistake again. Glad.
Unbelievable. But yeah, I think to sum up, DJ, that's really well put. I think overall, a pretty good squad. I wouldn't say they had the best auction. I think there's one big gap for me, and that is a big hitter, the role that Hetmeyer and Stoinis used to play.
We've got Powell. Rovman Powell scored 100 recently. A very, very good 100. He's a West Indian big hitter. Don't you think we're missing a wrist spinner? We've got Kuldeep, but there's no backup for wrist spin at all. Mishi Bhai is not there. But Dubey bowls leg
I,
spins.
I'm
Actually,
I,
Dubey
I'm
bowls
okay.
leg spin.
I'm okay. I think this is okay. And Powell is a good call out, but he's not going to be one of the first four players. So that number 5 or 6 big hitter who can bail you out of tough situations is missing, and Delhi need to figure that part out. So let's move to the next team, which I think is a team that did really well in the auction, the Rajasthan Royals. All right. So the Rajasthan Royals kept Jaiswal, Butler, and Samson. Okay. Those are the 3 guys that they kept. And I think all kind of strong names. Historically, they've been a team that has done very well in the top 3 and then crumbled after that. So what happens here? The focus is going into the IPL auction that we need to strengthen our bowling. It's been something that has not worked in the past. Let's finish the batting and move to the bowling. They picked up Devdutt Padikkal, which, as I was watching live, almost felt like a bidding war between RCB to raise the price. And suddenly RR was like, oh, we actually got him. Where is now he going to slot in? Because everyone's saying Samson should bat at 4, but let's be honest, Samson likes to bat 1, 2, or 3. So Padikkal is going to be an interesting problem to solve for them, but I think he will play. Shimron Hetmeyer is the other one that works in their favor, because when they lose those early wickets, you've got a guy now coming in at 5 or 6 who can play well. So both good buys, I think sensible buys. Virat Kohli and RCB are probably going to be upset that Dev D is no longer with them after a wonderful start he's had with the RCB. But DJ, let's talk about the bowlers. First name on the card, the guy who mankarid, if that's a word, Joss Butler. Did you see the Rajasthan Royals put up a video of Ashwin and Joss?
Yeah, it was the first thing that came to my mind, right? Like when Rajasthan Royals picked up Ashwin, it was like, okay, what's going to happen in the nets? Is he going to practice running him out at the bowler's end as well? Which is pretty funny. I mean, Joss Butler in Rajasthan Royals are good with their social media game generally, and they put up a video with Joss saying, "Don't worry, I'm safe in my crease. Look forward to having you," and stuff, which was cool. But you have to remember, and as we record, actually, the auction's still ongoing, and they've got 8.4 crores left in their kitty. So there may be another couple of big names that they go for in the last bit of the auction. There are a few names that are still up for auction. So watch that space. But you have to remember, Rajasthan Royals, they're usually quite good at the auction.
On the Ashwin topic, actually, their CEO who came on our podcast actually said that I spoke to Joss before and told him about the list of probables and checked if Ashwin was going to be an issue. I saw this quote somewhere on Instagram. I'm not sure if it's true. I recollect seeing it properly, but that would have been interesting, right? Like if it was actually such an issue. But great,
very interesting.
Both of them have come out of the name. Let's talk about the bowlers, right? Okay, I'm going to name the bowling lineup now, which I think is fantastic. Trent Bolt, Prasidh Krishna, Chahal, Ashwin, and Navdeep Saini potentially.
Yeah.
What do you think about that's a pretty good bowling lineup, right?
Yeah, I mean, you see Chahal out from RCB into the Rajasthan Royals. I think the Royals have learned from their misadventures at the last few auctions, which is that they stack it. I think that at one stage they had 4 English players who were their marquee players: Stokes, Butler, Jofra Archer, and Liam Livingstone, and Steve Smith was part of their team as well. So they've learned. And so that is interesting. They made Samson their captain, of course. But I mean, Chahal and Ashwin bowling in tandem is a dream. I mean, if you give them a spinning pitch, you're in trouble. If you give them a quick pitch, you've got Trent Bolt, you've got Navdeep Saini, you've got Prasidh Krishna who can do the job for you. So yeah, it looks a pretty well-rounded side, to be honest. I mean, where Joss Butler bats in this, that's going to be an interesting question for me, because you've got Devdutt Padikkal and you've got Yashasvi Jaiswal. They're probably battling it out for one opening slot. I think Butler will open, and then Samson will bat 3. Then you've got Riyan Parag and the others to come. But they've done decently, to be honest. They've got Karan Nair back as well. Shimron Hetmeyer, he's gone from Delhi Capitals. I think he's batting 5 for them. Hetty is a great finisher. So they've done well, but they've just picked someone else up, actually. So their kitty's just gone to 7 crores. So they paid 1.4 crores for somebody. I'm just looking for who that is going to be. Maybe they bought 2 players. I don't know. I can't work it out.
I can't. I think we're doing this as it's going on. So it's a little bit tough, but I think overall, positive. Again, missing a genuine all-rounder from my perspective. And so look out, they might be picking that in the next couple of hours. Or by the time this releases, you guys would know. But the gap as of now that we see is a genuine all-rounder. All right, moving on. The Dad's Army. Chennai Super Kings. DJ, your team with MS Dhoni. Tell me, did they want anyone new, you think? Or do you think they just, the task was just get everyone back?
I don't know, man. I have no idea what their auction strategy is. It seems like they've... Well, let's talk about who they didn't get back. Mr. IPL, the fourth highest run getter in the history of the IPL. Suresh Raina, who Ashwin would like to bat at number 5, did not find a buyer. I mean, Ambati Raidu had a buyer. They went and bought Uttapa back. Let's talk about your favorite player, Mr. Suresh Raina. Is he... How are you going to watch the IPL without Raina?
I think I have to, man. There's no choice. Like he's not been great the last 1 year. He had a balcony issue the year before that. So for the last 2 years, I've been watching IPL without Mr. IPL.
Yeah, but I mean, how can he go unsold by all teams? It's shocking. No one could guarantee him a balcony is clearly what your take on the issue was.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think maybe there's a special position of like motivation coach. After every wicket, he comes out there, pats everyone on the bum, then goes back out. Yeah, that would be a pretty good role for him. But anyway, Chennai Super Kings being Chennai Super Kings has pretty much recreated a team that has won the IPL many times. They obviously kept Jadeja, Dhoni, noting that Jadeja was the number 1 retention. Ruturaj Gaikwad and Moeen Ali. So 4 picks, all 4 solid. They also then went and bought back Robin Uttapa and Ambati Raidu, both of who I think will play in that playing 11. And the surprise pick, which I think was fantastic, was Devon Conway. So let's remember, they lost Faf to RCB, and we'll talk about RCB next. But Devon Conway, I think, was a great buy and potentially fits in very nicely into the
right at the top, yeah. But we haven't talked about the biggest buy of this auction.
Who?
Deepak Chahar.
No, he wasn't the biggest though.
Is he not? He's 14 crores, right?
Yeah, but Kishan got 15.7.
15 point, yeah. So wait a minute. Deepak Chahar is getting paid more than MS Dhoni.
Yeah. It's crazy, and that's what I don't understand about the auction, right? Like they could have retained him at 6 or 8, and they've gone out and paid 14. I mean, potentially they could have got Moeen Ali at less than 14, but that's the way it works, man. You've seen a couple of teams do this. RCB did this with Harshal as
Patel,
well.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're right. So they got back Bravo. They picked up Dubé, right? Mitchell Santner, I believe, was with them earlier as well. So they did that. Chris Jordan was, I think, a decent pick.
In the second round, I think he came back. Yeah, he was passed up the first time.
Yeah. So Chris Jordan, a good pick. You've got Deepak Chahar and Adam Milne. So all round, I mean, does it matter who they have in the team so long as MS Dhoni is leading? Like we always joke, right? The IPL is who plays Chennai in the finals.
Yeah, but I thought it was Mumbai Indians. You've changed back to Chennai now. Well done. After they won last year. But
it just keeps flipping between the two.
It's incredible though, isn't it? Because you look at a team like Delhi and you're like, okay, they're missing this, they're missing that. But then the same players go to Chennai or Mumbai and they start doing magnificently, right? And you're just like, it's about putting the team together, knowing which players to bowl at what stages, knowing where to bat people, backing players. And CSK and Mumbai have a culture of doing that. So, I mean, really, I don't know. They've got Rajwardhan Hangarekar, who's an under 19 player. So that's brought the average age down quite significantly. But other than that, I mean, it looks very much. And Jagdishan is gone back as well. So he was there with them previously. I think Asif was with them previously as well. Dwayne Pretorius, who's a South African all-rounder, has gone to them. But it looks so similar. It looks incredibly similar to... It didn't need to be a mega auction for these guys. It could have been a regular year where they've just traded a couple of players and... But that's it. It's about creating that chemistry and keeping that core, which is currently the IPL champion core, right? So why change a winning game in a way? And I mean, Deepak Chahar, really happy for him, man. Like, I was watching the India West Indies ODIs, right? And we haven't talked about that in any detail yet, but man, that guy can bat, he can bowl, and he's basically a replacement for Shardul Thakur. And some would argue, some being Ashwin, he's an improvement on Shardul Thakur because he can swing the ball, take wickets up front, and bats really, really well. So great buy, really happy for him. And he says he can't imagine playing for anyone else. I actually don't think I can imagine him in any other colors at this point, to be honest. So
yeah, very true, very true. So Chennai keeps their core team; they know how to win. It'll be interesting because there's views that are you building for the future by just buying back players like Bravo?
That was weird though. Why would you buy Bravo at his age? I mean, it's
just like you said, it's the core, it's the chemistry. He's in the auction. They got him for a decent price. I think from an all-rounder perspective, he's still somebody who can bowl your 18th, 19th overs.
Junk wickets.
I think overall, yeah.
And he really sledged Kieran Pollard awesomely though. Did you see that?
Yeah, with Chahal.
He's like, my friend Polly is missing. Last found in Yuzi Chahal's pocket. Too good.
That was too funny, man. All right, moving on. We have to be quick. Royal Challengers Bangalore. I think decent job this time, man. Again, they came in with a clear strategy. So they retained Kohli, Maxwell, and Siraj. Remember that Kohli had given up captaincy. So technically, they were looking for a captain, and I thought it might be Shreyas Iyer. But a couple of other teams looking at captains as well. One interesting thing for me is going to be, does Kohli actually put his hand up and say, I want to continue as captain because I'm no longer captain in any other format for India? So that's one big watch out. But having said that, they had some really good buys. Faf now at RCB, a potential captain. Dinesh Karthik and Finn Allen, right? Three big names, all right up there. Most notable is Faf. I think everyone's excited to have him. It'll be interesting again to see where these guys back, right? Because I don't think Kohli will open. Maxwell will be at 4. So Faf, I was looking forward to Faf and Dev Particle opening the batting, but that's not going to happen. They did well with their bowlers and all-rounders too, right? So Harshal Patel and Wanindu Hasaranga went for 10.75 crores each. DJ, very clear strategy that they had to go for them. When you could retain 4 people, why didn't you retain one of these 2?
Yeah, it's I don't think they had Hasaranga though, did they? Last year?
They did.
Oh, they did?
They came in mid-season.
Oh, okay, interesting. Because Patel, I think, came out and said, listen, we can retain you for 6 crores, but we want you to be in the auction and you will make more money, is what he said. That the management told me, we want you to go out in the open auction. We will try to get you back. We will go for you. And they did, to be fair, and they showed faith in him. But they were like, we don't want you to be unhappy being here, because if we're going to retain you as our last retention, because it would have been, I mean, in order, let's be honest, who would the retentions have been? Kohli would have come first, Maxwell would have come second, Siraj would have come third, right? So,
yeah.
Or Siraj got retained for what? 7 crores? So, I mean, you getting Harshal the same, they pay him the same, right? So, I didn't expect that they would have kept him for 5, 6 or 7 crores. So it's nice to let him out on the open market. A purple cap holder, make the most of it, and we'll go for you. They did. Hasaranga, again, don't know the thinking there, but whether there was a conversation.
I mean, he can bat. He's a wrist spinner.
Mystery spinner.
I think he's one of the most valuable T20 players there is today, man. So,
but did they play him much last season? Because I can't remember. They did.
They did. They played him a little bit, and then they got into their usual, we don't know which 4 overseas to play. And they started playing this weird overseas pacer, not even Kyle Jamieson. I can't remember his name, but that guy leaked a lot of runs. So, anyway, both, I think, very good picks. The other one big thing I want to call out is Josh Hazelwood, right? I think he's picked up his T20 bowling. He did very well for CSK. He did very well at the T20 World Cup. Seems to be putting in the yards and the effort for T20 as a format. And I think kudos to RCB for picking him up. They also picked up Karan
Sharma.
Go ahead.
I say
Karan Sharma, and that's because Karan Sharma is just in a team that wins every time, right?
He's a serial IPL winner without playing any matches. But I mean, I don't understand Josh Hazelwood, man. Like, He's one of those players that has done well in a CSK setup. Again, he's done well in an Australian shirt, so maybe it's a yellow thing. But at the Chinnaswamy, you backing Josh Hazel, because you have to remember, this is not always going to be played in the UAE or in like a bubble in Mumbai. This is potentially setting up for the next few years, if not more, because there's a question around whether the mega auction stays, whether this is the last mega auction or not. So Josh Hazelwood in the Chinnaswamy, man, he's going to travel the distance. I have to say that like he isn't going to be the perfect bowler for that. And so Patel, great pick, but who's going to partner him at the death is the question for me. Siraj has gone for runs previously as well, so we'll see.
Fair enough, and that's been their problem for a long time. We'll take one more team to complete. I forgot that there was 2 new teams, so I kept telling DJ at the start we'll do 4 teams, then take a break. But no, we have to do 5 teams. Let's come to the Mumbai Indians. Rohit Sharma, Bumrah, Sky, and Pollard retained. No surprises there. At the same time, and again, a team that has built a core. They let Hardik Pandya and Krunal Pandya go, and I think I heard through many sources that they made it very clear they're not going to bid on either brother. Hardik was out anyway for them. But the signing of the auction, and I've been practicing his name all weekend, Ishan Kishan, 15.25 crores. I read a tweet or a meme just before the auction started that said, there are 1 or 2 teams that have said, when Kishan gets to 12 crore, let us know, we'll start bidding there. Was this just obvious, DJ? Was Kishan always going to be a player that was in the highest bracket?
100%. I mean, he's a fantastic player, right? And you could see Mumbai's strategy was to hold back their purse. So when Kishan came up, they went big. And the moment they released him, they knew that they wanted him back. They'd let go of QDK as well. QDK went to one of the new teams. And so they needed a wicketkeeper batter. And Ishan Kishan, having been in the setup previously, was going to be there. And he's he's worth his weight in gold, right? He's an attacking batsman. He's left-handed. He can open the batting. And he's a wicketkeeper. That ticks like 4 boxes.
Yeah.
So
and he's the baby of the Mumbai Indians team, right?
Yeah.
They've seen him grow.
They love him. I mean, from that documentary, you can tell how much they love him. And he's a magnificent T20 player, man. Like, he should be in every T20 team India puts out from now until he retires. Because I remember the last game last year, Rohit and him opening the batting, just brilliant. Yeah, I love it. So Rohit retained at 16. He's got 15.25. So, when you have to just be below your boss in terms of pay scales.
It's crazy, man. That was superb. I totally agree with you. I think worth it. And a little bit of pressure on him, but no doubt that he will deliver. The other one is Dewald or Dewald. How do you pronounce his name?
I don't know. Baby De Villiers, right?
Basically, Baby AB is what people call him. Brevis. For all the listeners, if you have not seen this guy, please just go on YouTube and type his name and watch some videos of his. I kid you not, you will take 10 seconds to realize that this is not Brevis. This is actually, and so it's not AB de Villiers. This is actually Brevis. I made a mistake while even talking about it. But
I'm disappointed in you, though.
Why?
How have you not come to your countryman?
Who?
Look down the list.
I'm not coming. I wanted to call out Brevis because he was man of the series this under-19 World Cup. And I'm just seeing those videos. It was fantastic. Now, let's come quickly to my countryman, Tim David. Yes, 8.25 crores. Didn't do much last season, got a chance with the RCB, but is playing leagues all across the world and is going from strength to strength. So, kudos there. But very quickly, I'm going to list out a couple of players and come to the big name. So they got Basil Thampi, who's not the big name. They got Murugan Ashwin, Jaidev Unadkat, Mayank Markande, Tymel Mills.
Tymel Mills, Bumrah, Archer.
I was just going to come to Archer. What is it going to be like when the last 4 overs of an innings are going to be bowled by Jofra Archer and Bumrah? I mean, that's it, right?
And Tymel Mills. He's potentially one of them as well.
I mean, I think Tymel Mills will take wickets because nobody's going to target the other 2. But I'm just saying, like, Jofra Archer and Bumrah, I don't think there's a better combination than that.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty insane, man. It's and Jaidev Unadkat as well, replacing Trent Bolt. Yeah,
But
it's some team. Daniel Sams, of course, he's ended up with Mumbai Indians, so that's interesting as well. Maybe he becomes a superstar
I,
of the IPL now. I don't know.
I feel like you're underplaying Jofra Archer and Bumrah because every time I ask you about them, you're talking about Taimul Mills and Jaydev Unadkar. So
So I'll tell you one
let's
player who's owned both of them. He's a captain of the Delhi Capitals. It's a big statement
yeah,
to make.
maybe.
Like imagine reverse sweeping Jofra Archer to third man. There's only one guy who's done it. I'm not worried about them, and we'll deal with it. And
Yeah,
Bumrah, like Pant has taken him to the cleaners once or twice, so it's fair. It's fine. We'll be okay.
once or twice. Okay. Uh, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back for the rest of the 5 teams.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Storytellers and Storytellers, Vineet talks to acclaimed filmmaker Nikhil Advani about his latest web series, Rocket Boys. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam talks to Nitin Gupta, founder and CEO at Uni, about their new Pay 1/3 card. On Raw and Organics, Sweta Subaya, founder of Sweat, bursts some pretty pervasive myths around fitness for women with Kunal. The Simplified hosts deconstruct all there is to artificial intelligence with AI practitioners Karthik and Shivam. And on All Things Policy, the Takshashila folk discuss evolving notions of warfare with the advent of digital technologies. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our others for that matter, please do tell a friend. Don't forget to rate us on any other platforms that you're listening to us, whether it's a rating, whether it's a review, it all helps. And do remember to check us out on YouTube. We have a number of channels. They're available on ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. And finally, I would like to thank our sponsors this week, Bank of Baroda, CoinSwitch, Kuber, and HDFC Life Insurance. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Welcome back from that break. We covered 5 teams in the first half of the episode. We're going to quickly move on and cover the rest. Lots to cover. Punjab Kings. They got the first bid of the IPL. So they retained Mayank and Arshdeep, which Arshdeep I think was a great retention. They now picked up Shikhar Dhawan and Johnny Bairstow in their batting lineup. They picked up Kagiso Rabada, Rahul Chahar as their kind of key bowlers. DJ, quickly, Shikhar Dhawan, Johnny Bairstow, Mayank Agarwal, good top 3.
Yeah, I'd say good is a bit of an understatement. I think these guys have had the auction of a lifetime. I just felt, I don't know, it felt like they were the new team that was coming in to buy people, right? Every big name that came up, I just felt Punjab went all out on these guys, and because they let go of the Rahuls of the world and the Gales of the world, right? Who they're playing big money and not winning anything with.
Yeah, exactly. So they have the the biggest purse, and it showed, right? So they picked up those 3. They picked up Rabada, Rahul Chahar, I think both great picks. And then they had enough money to go for Shah Rukh Khan at 9 crores. They had Liam Livingston at 11.5. Again, good pick. They picked up Raj Bawa, which was really exciting. The guy who was man of the match in the final of the Under-19 World Cup, whose dad was a coach with Punjab, who coached Yuvraj Singh. So I think that was good. Those are the notable names. I can't help but feel that if I try to put their team together, I got 8 good players and then 3 probably names we've not heard of too much. So that's going to be my concern with them. But overall, DJ, you're right. I think looked like a good team. Any final comments on them?
Odion Smith, we've just seen him in the India West Indies. Hits a long ball, hits the deck hard. He's going to be a bit of a star, I expect. But yeah, I mean, Liam Livingston, I think you mentioned him. Kagiso KG's gone to Punjab. I think this is shaping up to be a really nice squad for them for the next few years. They've got enough local talent. They've got Rahul Chahar. And the one thing I think Mumbai were a bit weak in was the spin department, because they've lost Chahar to these guys. And I mean, Chahar is going to be a great bowler for these guys. Harpreet Brar, another one that we've seen last year. I think he got Kohli and De Villiers or Kohli and Maxwell out in the same over. So
and he got De Villiers just after that. So I mean, I think like I said, good team, 8 solid players, 3 guys. Let's see if they can fill that with impact.
Sorry, can I just add, Rishi Dhawan had a really good local tournament this year. So I think he may be back in Punjab colours after a while, but he's going to be one to watch for. I think there were calls for him to get into the India squad as well, but he didn't make it for that all-rounder spot. So look out for him.
Awesome. Okay, good. A well-balanced team. I think let's wish them luck, man. They've always come bottom of the table
We
last
don't
few
want them to
years.
win before us, though. You see, Delhi
Yes,
Capital has to win
absolutely.
before Punjab.
Absolutely. Okay, the next one, Sunrisers Hyderabad, another team that just seems to have been on the decline since 2016 when they made that. No, when they won that year. So they had obviously got issues with David Warner. They retained Kane Williamson, Abdul Samad, and Umran Malik. Great faith showed in these two youngsters who didn't actually get every game or get batting or bowling in the games that they played necessarily. So they made that call to retain those three, opened up their purse a little bit wider than some of the other teams. And so they got Nicholas Puran, goodbye with their wicketkeeper. They got Aiden Markram, again, a solid batsman, and Rahul Tripathi. So surprisingly, and I was very happy, Tripathi got 8.5 crores. He's been a silent guy who, well, pretty much has come to the party every IPL, if I can say so myself. But it's been good. Nicholas Puran as well, has got potential, just hasn't done well in the IPL. They then picked up a couple of solid all-rounders, two names that come up immediately, Washington Sundar and Marco Jansen. I was hoping Delhi goes for Marco, but SRH did a really good job by getting them. And then their bowling lineup looks a little bit inexperienced, if I can say that, or not inexperienced, but they look a little bit light. So they've got Natarajan, Bhuvi, who's not at his prime, Kartik Tyagi, who did well, Shreyas Gopal, and I would say that's pretty much it, and maybe Sean Abbott. DJ, fair assessment of the team, like solid buys, but bowling looks a little weak.
Nattu, missing Nattu.
I said Natarajan, yeah.
Oh, you got him. Nattu and I think Bhuvi went back as well, right? Yeah, so
Yeah,
they've retained those
I
two
mentioned
guys.
all of them.
Yeah, okay, sorry, I've just missed. I was reading the list clearly. But you know what their issues be? And just looking at this list from on top, you can see the number of overseas players they've picked again. And their issue
Yeah.
has always been which four do we pick? Because they've got a captain, which is Kane Williamson, who's a foreign captain, and I think he gets paid more than anybody else on this list by far. Like Nicholas Puran, hit and miss. You paid 10.75 crores, so you'd expect him to start. Washington Sundar was the pick for me. I feel a bit bad for him because he's going to Sunrisers Hyderabad. I mean, I don't know. They seem like the least glamorous. And they, oh god, did you see their latest jersey and outfit? It's
No,
quite,
I
yeah.
didn't.
I'll Google it after this. It's pretty poor. The Sunrisers jersey. So anyway, I think Washington for them is a big buy. But again, too many foreign players, and I suspect they need their local talent to really step up to go anywhere
Yeah.
in the tournament.
Agree. I mean, while watching it on day one, I was just like, what is SRH doing? Where are they? They've not really showed up. Again, I think it's going to be a similar story. They let Holder go, which was sad. But, out of all the teams we've discussed so far, they look like the weakest to me. But I hope I'm proven wrong,
You
man.
know
Two,
the
three, in
worst
fact,
retention of the IPL, right?
which one?
It's the IPL retaining the Sunrisers as a team. That it's not my joke. It's not original, but it's a really mean. It's a really mean meme. I just wanted to say that. No offense to the Sunrisers fans, guys. Just joking.
Okay, nice. All right. Coming to the two new teams, I think we've covered 8. I'll go back and do a quick check after we cover these two. But the Lucknow Super Giants, Lucknow Rising Super Giants, or just Lucknow Super Giants, I don't know. But they have KL Rahul as their captain. They have Marcus Stoinis and Ravi Bishnoi. So interesting, right? A top order, a middle order, all rounder, and a bowler, an Indian bowler as their key signings. Now, I think they have done pretty well. Okay, they got Quinton de Kock right up the top with KL Rahul. I think that's probably one of the best opening pairs of the IPL that we're going to see. So kudos to them on that. They got Manish Pandey, which I was really glad that Delhi didn't when Delhi started bidding for him. But I know Ashwin would have been happy with that. But so that happened as well. And then they also had a couple of big buys in terms of their all-rounders: Jason Holder, Deepak Huda, Krunal Pandya, Avesh Khan. Right? These are some of the notable names. DJ, just very quickly, there's been history between Deepak Huda and Krunal Pandya. What is going to happen there? Is that just like setting up for disaster?
You have to love the IPL. You had Simons, Bhaji, you've now got Ashwin, Butler, and you've got
And
Krunal Huda.
and you had DK and Murli Vijay in the Delhi Capitals or Delhi Daredevils at one time. You're right. The IPL just throws up some of these rivalries.
Just IPL things, man. But I guess they're all adult and they'll work themselves out. Huda is in the Indian squad right now, playing pretty well, if I must say. He looked. I mean, let's just go back to the one days. He looked like he'd really integrated well. People were really happy for him taking those wickets. Like all of them came rushing towards him. So, Krunal Pandya used to be in favor. He's obviously got paid more than Huda this time round. But yeah, I think Huda has currently got the upper hand in that relationship. So maybe he'll just take the high road. But I mean, they look okay. It depends. They've got backups. They've got Evan Lewis backing up the QDK situation. If Avesh Khan was their big buy, right? We thought that Delhi would go all out for him. They've paid 10 crores for a guy whose base price was at 50 lakhs, which is it's huge. It shows the value of an Avesh Khan in an IPL auction, right? A local quick who can take wickets. Jason Holder did his chances no harm whatsoever. Marcus Stoinis. So again, they haven't gone that heavy on the foreign players. So I think from this list, I can see the 4 foreign players that will likely play are QDK, Holder, Stoinis, and one of Mark Wood or Dushman Chamira. Right. So yeah, a decent auction. They've exhausted the entire purse. What they should have actually done is spend a little bit on their advertising, I think, and actually rebranded properly.
That brings us to our next team, the Gujarat Titans, led by Hardik Pandya. That's going to be an interesting one, right? Hardik Pandya as captain, not something we thought of, but hey, you can hate like him or you can hate him. You can't ignore him. So they had an interesting retention. They had Hardik Pandya at 15 crores and Rashid Khan at 15 crores. Remember, Rashid Khan left Sunrisers because he said he wants to be the number one retained player. And I find it odd, man. Like, what is that giving you? Like, what kind of ego do you have that you need to fuel that I must be the number one retention and I must get this salary? I mean, you could have easily played under Kane, one of the greatest captains there is today. You could have struck a deal on the side for some advertising deal to make that extra 2-3 crores. What was interesting is that even KL Rahul at Lucknow picked up 17 crores because Kohli got 17 crores. So it's really funny, man, the way these guys think. It kind of pisses me off sometimes when I think about it. But anyway, he's 15 crores as well. And then Shubman Gill at 8. So again, following a similar trend with a top order batsman, a middle order all-rounder, and a great kind of spinner who is guaranteed to play every game. So they started off that auction. I think, for a team that's coming new, they did quite well. They picked up Jason Roy to partner Shubman Gill at the top, who I think is a very explosive batsman. They got David Miller, mixed bag. I'm very mixed on him. They picked up Matthew Wade, who was again played a blinder, I think, in the semi-final of that recent T20 World Cup. Not sure how his injuries and all look like, but I think overall a good pick. And then DJ kind of goes like weirdly, but Tewati at 9 crores for Gujarat. Like, do you think that was worth it?
He's still living off that one innings that he played, right? For the Rajasthan Royals against the Punjab Kings. He didn't really do very much last year. I haven't seen that celebration with his ears in his fingers in his ears for quite a while. But I mean, I don't know. He seems a bit excessive, but good for him, man. Like, if he can command that price based on that one innings, why not? That's what the IPL is about. When talent meets opportunity. Usually there's a good balance between talent and opportunity. So well done to Tewatia for that. Hardik Pandya, man, like, hopefully he's fit enough. Interesting, like, we've called him Harpik Dandia and he's gone to the Gujarat team. So good luck to him.
And he will no longer be with his brother. That's an interesting
No,
thing.
he
So the
won't.
first
No, he
time-
won't. The Pandya brothers separated, but Jason Roy is a fantastic pick, man.
Yeah.
He is.
At 2
That's
crore base price.
yeah. It's a really good like. I mean, I think he scored 157 balls recently in the PSL, and once that guy gets going, he's unstoppable, boss. And I mean, just I think a fantastic pick for them. But they don't generally look like a team that's likely to challenge for the title. I don't want to say it now, but I mean, Riddhiman Saha is your main keeper, like, they got him in the second round, and yeah, it's
It's a very fair point. It's the same exact feeling I had. Look, Mohammad Shami at 6.25, I think a steal, especially when some of these other pacers are going for 10, 11, 12 crore. So he's a good addition. Lockie Ferguson, I think, is a good bowler. So they've got two solid pacers. But apart from that, I mean, you're talking about Pradeep Sangwan, Sai Kishore, Yash Dayal, Noor Ahmed, Dominic Drakes, Jayant Yadav.
Vijay Shankar,
It's unbelievable.
3D.
I was just, he's 3D and he's like Hardik Pandya 2.0. So you might have, Hardik Pandya and Hardik Pandya 2.0 batting side by side, finishing off games for the Gujarat Titans. But
Where's Ashwin when you need him, man? Hardik Pandya 2.0. But yeah, it just looks like there isn't enough depth of talent for these 10 teams, to be totally honest with you. It's like these guys are scraping the bottom of the barrel a bit. I mean, much more talented than any of us, but
No, but I think that's what happens, right? I mean, it's good and bad. Good is you will see some new names who will get an opportunity. So I think that's good, and that's what the IPL is about. That's how we've got people like Kishan and Bumrah and Pandya. The bad news is that you're going to have games where there's going to be some average cricket for 10, 20% of the game if these guys all kind of come into the mix. But anyway, let's move to our last team, DJ, KKR. And I mean, I was usually...
You've kept them last for a reason as well, I'm sure.
I was just going to say last but not least doesn't really apply here, which is what you always say to the teams. So last and least is the KKR team, where you... this was interesting when you saw Shah Rukh Khan's kids there at the auction table. I didn't see them do much, but they were there. And they actually retained Russell, Chakravarti, Venkateshwar Iyer, and Sunil Narayan, right? So they were very clear. They made it to the finals last year, so let's give them credit where it's due. But these are the four guys they retained, right? So they were going to go in, and Morgan had a horrid time last year. So you were always thinking that they're going to look for a captain. And they did that. They went after Shreyas Iyer, who I thought would again be one of the most expensive picks in the auction. And he went for 12.25 crores. Barring any sort of like unforeseen circumstances, I think Shreyas Iyer is the captain of KKR. He's got leadership experience and he's made his ambition very clear. KKR needed a captain. So Shreyas Iyer definitely going to play. They picked up Sam Billings as well, who I think is a good buy. He's always been in the mix, but never really got game time either for England or his IPL franchise. They picked up Ajinkya Rahane, who I really hope opens with Venkateshwar
Could be the
Iyer.
captain. He didn't get enough credit for Australia, he says. Somebody else stole his ideas and credit.
And who stole the idea? I don't know, but anyway, Ravi Shastri.
Someone else stole the credit from him. But he doesn't want to take credit for Australia. I found that shocking, that interview. Anyway.
Unbelievable. But so they've got kind of... I'm looking through their lineup. They've also got Pat Cummins, Nitish Rana. Nitish Rana went for 8 crores, so they clearly have a lot of faith in him. And then after that, Shivam Mavi, Anukul Roy, and some other guys who, honestly, I have not heard of. So, mixed bag for them. I think they wanted to solve their middle order crisis, and so they picked up a Shreyas Iyer. But beyond that, I don't know, man. DJ, your thoughts on KKR?
So I think Venki Iyer was a good retention by them. So they've kept that Venki Iyer, Sunil Narayan, Andre Russell. So those guys are definitely going to pay. Chakra is going to take over the spin duties along with Sunil Nareen, as I like to call him. But Pat Cummins was a bit of a weird buy. I don't know. Did he do enough last time around? Rinku Singh finds his way back in. Sheldon Jackson is playing for them as well. Hales, will he get a game? I don't know whether he'll play at the top of the order with Iyer and maybe he gets opens with maybe Iyer and Rahane open, maybe Hales and Iyer open. That would be a pretty explosive partnership. But yeah, it looks okay. It looks like they've got bases covered, but nothing really stands out as yet. Mavi, I mean, went for big money along with his under 19 compatriot, right? Nagarkoti, who went to Delhi. They both went for quite a lot of money. So teams are looking at the future. They're looking at the next 3-4 years. So clearly, that's what they're investing in. But I mean, Saudi's back there as well in KKR colors. So an okay auction for them, I think.
Awesome. Okay, cool. That's it, man. I think that is the roundup. That is the IPL auction for you. There might be a couple of names who are still being bought as we speak, but overall, I think yeah, it was a good auction. Looking forward to the IPL now. DJ, very quickly, let me ask you for some thoughts on the India West Indies series, guys. We don't have time to go through each one, but DJ and I, maybe we can cover a couple of points each. DJ, let's talk about that.
Rishabh Pant opened the batting. So somebody is listening to Edges and Sledges in the Indian team management after Rohit Sharma opening in test matches. Now Rishabh Pant is opening with white ball. So somebody's got their earplugs in, which I'm pleased about. Maybe Rahul Dravid listens to us. So Mr. Dravid, if you're listening to us, hi. But yeah, really excited. It didn't come off, but it was good. Also, you saw Pant and Iyer get together in the last innings, which was really good to see. They batted really well. I think they both batted really, really well in that last innings of the series. But yeah, other than that, the revelation for me was actually Prasidh Krishna. And I think previously I said, he's behind Shami and all these other guys in the pecking order. But then when I watched him, I was like, he's playing the role Liam Plunkett played for England in the ODI World Cup last time. Comes and hits the deck, takes wickets in those middle overs. And so maybe we're grooming him for that role for the 2023 World Cup. So that I thought was a big takeaway from me for this. And of course, Deepak Chahar, just great. I really enjoyed watching him bowl and bat. And I'm becoming a Chahar fanboy. Nothing to do with this tag as well. I actually messaged you guys before the auction. I was like, this guy should play every match that India plays. So
very interesting. So I think couple of call-outs for me also, DJ, just to wrap up where you've called it off. I think this very, very disappointing series by Kohli. I mean, as fans of Kohli, we have to stand up and admit when he's not done well. I don't know what's going on with him. A couple of people messaged me that he should take a long beach holiday, clear his mind and come back. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what he needs. We can't wait to see him back in form, but for the moment, he's not done well. Other big positive for me is Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid deciding that KL Rahul will not play in the opening slot. Very positive move. He is a middle order batsman in ODIs. I think India needs him there. Not sure what his personal view is, but he's played successfully there. I think between Sky, Rahul and Shreyas Iyer, we've got a nice middle order. 2 out of the 3 will play. If you ask my opinion, sometimes you could even have a situation where Pant may not play, even though he is the blue-eyed boy, right? But his limited overs game needs a little bit of work. So let's see. I think they've got 3 solid middle order. They've got a solid top 3. So India's working at it. I think the biggest strength that we can see is that they're experimenting and willing to take some risk.
And Washi, really good. Really enjoyed Washi.
Coming down.
Coming
down the list.
Chahal.
Yeah, Chahal is back. Washi is there. Washington Sundar is always going to be Jadeja's replacement in the future. So generally good. Deepak Chahar again stand out. So yeah, there you have it. I mean, it was a clean sweep for India. There were times that we lost early wickets and you almost feel like they were doing this on purpose because the middle order needs to bat. But I assure you, it wasn't on purpose. And in a way, good ODI series. I mean, my last thought on this is that even when it's India playing overseas or at home, ODI is watching 100 overs is tough, man. So it takes a toll on you. Like you kind of like got it in the background, but hey, always good to see India win.
Yeah, and great start by Rohit to his captaincy in his ODI, right? Like 3-0 after that 3-0 loss in South Africa.
There were some great moves by him on the field. Again, we are fans of Kohli, but doesn't mean we're not fans of others. We give credit where it's due. Rohit Sharma, excellent captaincy. I mean, some of his field placings, some of his bowling changes. I mean, I can't remember who this was for, but he kept a slip in
19th over. 19th over for Prasidh Krishna. Yeah. And it was the captain Nicholas Puran that edged and Rohit took the catch himself. So
Yeah,
just perfect.
exactly. So that's from that perspective, great captaincy. I think India is making some good moves. They have to keep an open mind and keep enough players with match practice over the next 2 years. And yeah, guys, that's a wrap from us this week. It's been a long episode. It's been fun talking about the auction. The T20s are starting. DJ, West Indies is a different team in T20s. Any thoughts on what is that scoreline going to be? Don't say 3-0 because that's overconfidence.
I'm going to say 2-1 to the West Indies. They are a
Oh, wow.
strong They are strong in T20s, man. Like, they bat all the way to leg number 9. You've got Akil Hussain who hits 28 in 1 over and then loses the match by 1 run. They are very, very strong, and they can chase any target, and they can score like 220, 230 easily if they all come off on their given day. So I think we'll win one match. I think we need to be bold with our selections. We need to play the players that I'd love to see Kishan up top just going at the bowling. I'd be interested in seeing what combinations we play, but West Indies very strong. They've just beaten England 3-2. So going to be and a lot of their players have got contracts, right? So they'd be looking to already prove their worth. So it's going to be hard.
Interesting. So DJ is 2-1 to West Indies. I said 2-1 to India. We will be back next week. I think by the time we do the podcast, the series will be over, so we can deep dive and talk about all things India versus West Indies T20 cricket. Thank you, guys. That's all we have this week. We'll see you again soon.